Hey Alex, we're going to prison. Today we had 13 calls on our hackathon. We are in the Antler office. It's Alex's first day here. I wanted to just get your vibes rolling because 5 seconds ago we were discussing the new potential model of what we could be operating with, and it would be talking to businesses, taking their waste, taking them to prisons, and then in the prison system actually utilizing that waste. And as we're talking, as I'm searching for the phone number of a person to call, the person who I emailed to on Friday about the same topic responded. And what did she respond? She's like, yeah, hello, very nice to meet you. I actually did speak to the Chief Secretary General of the Ministry of Justice, who I referenced because I just met him a few weeks ago. And she's saying, yeah, I already checked out your landing page, and how about you come and visit our prisons? So this is what we're operating with now. What are your vibes?
So I just learned that we are going to prison on Friday. I don't know, it's cool.
Yeah. How do you feel like since coming here this morning, since sleeping maybe 5 minutes on the ferry here because you went to bed late and woke up at 7? How does that feel in the sleep deprivation and then working with potentially like, hey Alex, we're going to prison? How does that feel?
No, it's great. Like it has been great 3 hours actually. But we have been like through so many like cycles of different like ideas and stuff, and through so many calls with people that are like completely unrelated. It's amazing.
It's been chaotic, but in the best way. And yeah, I don't think I've ever been excited to hear, hey, you're going to prison.
Yeah.
But it is what it is now. Today we had 13 calls on our hackathon. We called Circular Economy Center in Estonia, spoke with them, spoke with people from Uuskasutuskeskus, called the owner of my apartment because we're trying to figure out how much waste is left in the apartments and how people are managing that. A person who was dealing with projects with prisoners previously in the past. And anyone else I'm forgetting? The hotel management person. So far, a lot of conversations, quite a useful hackathon day. And now we will do a presentation for tomorrow because we have a pitching thing at 11 o'clock before Alex goes to Tallinn. So if we can compete in price, which we might be able to because we get free resources, potentially.
But in a way, like this Bad Boys Bakery, like, I don't think it's cheaper than anything else. So like the end product is the same.
Which is more expensive.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
This is exactly like why company merge works, right?
Yeah. Ginormous news. I got the best birthday present ever. On Tuesday, on the 9th of September, European Union passed a legislation which will actually make producers of textiles, producers of clothing, fashion brands responsible for collection, separation, division, and recycling of their textiles. So what exactly happened? EU made textile waste a company problem, not a city problem. Producers will now have to pay to collect, sort, and recycle textiles. This is called EPR, so Extended Producer Responsibility. It's their call. They have to monetarily contribute to deal with whatever waste they are actually creating. Member states already have to separately collect textiles. This is in place theoretically, but in reality it's not. We spoke to Circular Economy Center in Estonia. They said that, hey, look, we don't have that solution in place yet. What this means for people. So effectively, fast fashion becomes a lot more expensive. Now, getting the item into European Union means that getting it out of European Union is also not a possibility because export of textile waste to African countries is also not allowed by the directive. The companies that produce textiles will have to deal with this. But for me, as a buyer, for example, this will likely mean that things will become a lot more expensive. So if I am a fast fashion consumer, which I haven't been for at least 7 years now, but let's imagine I am, then that Shein top will increase in price. Then I will start looking at, does it even make sense for me to order that Shein top, or can I maybe buy something locally produced or nearby, better quality that will last me longer, that I will not have to then dispose of eventually. That might have a positive influence on the consumer behavior, which I'm obviously hoping for. Maybe if my better quality items eventually break a bit, but because I have a lot closer of a relationship with them, I paid a lot more money, so I care for them more, I will actually engage with the repair sector. So again, Ansium will be very happy to help there. So for us, that is super exciting news. This is the best birthday gift I could have gotten. Super excited to be a chain link in this whole flow. Interesting day today. Feels like I didn't get much done because I was jumping from topic to topic. One side of it was figuring out the legal aspect of our platform validation. So Montonia, the payment provider that we're trying to use because it has a very convenient integration with Estonian and in general like Baltic banking system, they want some sort of legal validation from a company that says that we don't need a special license to operate withholding partner funds and withholding user funds until we pay out the partner, pay out Omniva, and then we just keep our processing fee. The system is super basic, like Bolt Food, Volt, all of the other players couriers, Uber Eats, all of those companies operate on the same logic. So it's a bit silly that they want some sort of legal proof. And so far we got quoted 1,200 euros for like a simple stamp like, hey, yes, you're good.
Focus on regulatory compliance, textile waste tracking. And I can go ahead and start the conversation when ready.
Hello, we're a new startup that is trying to come ahead of the European regulations for textile producers and extended textile producer responsibility. We're building a system that helps track the waste and assess the responsible parties who should be held accountable monetarily for it. Would you be interested in having a conversation around how we can integrate that to be a governmental wing?
Tere! Aitäh, et ühendust võtsid.
Why the fuck?
See teema on meie jaoks väga aktuaalne. Eriti arvestades peagi jõustuvaid
Aga ma tahaks teile mainida, et tegelikult ka uuskasutuskeskusel tulevad probleemid, kui te ei hakka sellega tegelema, sest et teie olete firma, kes tegeleb tekstiilijäätmetega ja kui teie poolt toodetud tekstiilijäätmed jõuavad prügikastini, siis Euroopa Liit hakkab teile ka trahve välja kirjutama.
Võib-olla teil on õigus, aga ma pean ütlema, et see kõlab nagu veel üks lisakulu ja lisatöö.
Saan teist aru, te ütlesite, et see on lisakulu, aga tegelikult see ei ole kulu, sest et see aitab teile vältida trahve, mis tähendab, et teil jääb rohkem raha selleks, et tegeleda oma asjadega. Inimeste puhul ka, et me ei hakka küsima, et teil tuleks rohkem inimesi tööle või te peaksite rohkem inimestega tegelema, vaid pigem me lihtsalt võtame ülejäägid, mis te ei saa ära müüa. Sest et praegu minu teada kõik taaskasutuskeskused või second-hand poed, nad peavad neid asju müüma välismaale. Ehk siis teil on kindlasti juba keegi firmas, kes sellega praegu tegeleb, sest et ma ei usu, et te lihtsalt viskate need asjad välja.
No hea küll. Oletame, et te suudate aidata neid jääke kuidagi suunata õigesse kohta.
We are basically in prison. It's right there. I don't expect that we will be allowed to have a camera in. So, how are you feeling? What are the vibes today?
It's good. Very interesting.
Okay.
See what happens.
Yeah, we'll probably recap right after.
It was very insightful. They're interested in pretty much anything, as long as you can figure out like how you organize this work and what we can do.
One thing that we noticed also, they were saying that volume of work might be a little bit more limited, so it's not like a massive scale production, because they do have about 600 workers across Estonia working in many different fields. So they have metal work, woodworking, textile work, also laundry and packaging and things like that. So that is a question of like how far can it go and how much can they produce. But they're super interested. So they are currently, for example, they have a weaving loom that they're planning to test out, and they said that if we find people who would be interested to teach them that, they would be also very excited. So that could be like a very nice quick win if I get connected to Estonian Academy of Art, present that to them somehow, and maybe they have that skill that they would be able to introduce into this prison for us to also establish this like friendly, positive relationship, and for them to unlock a new potential direction, because for us that might be an angle at which we could utilize it, also the weaving room.
Do we want to do something with the fat?
This is unrollable. Yeah, what does it smell? Broth cubes.
Yeah, like broth and spices.
It's not like that. I have been mostly working on front-end development this week, then did rewrite the entire partnership agreement structure, and I took for the basis of it pretty much the same model as all the food delivery systems and food delivery businesses have. So the agreement should be sound. Anti-money laundering laws require them to confirm that with legal, but we found a way to just restructure our partnership agreement in a way that kind of alleviates those concerns. I was exploring other directions, so right now I'm actually looking into the larger players who are contributing to the textile waste significantly, and that happens to be China, China and the US. China has actually their own development of textile sector and recycling especially, so US is the current focus, but that's an update as of today. It's Wednesday, the 24th of September. Over the course of the past week and a half, we've been predominantly focusing on the B2C platform because it's been lagging behind. I was researching a lot of B2B things and we haven't really gotten a chance to finally finalize it and just release it, even though our release plan was to do it in September. We've had a conversation with Sorainen, it's a legal firm in Estonia, which did like a pro bono startup session, which was amazing because they had so many insanely good experts exactly in the field that we were looking at on the call. We were fully expecting to have maybe one person, but there were 4 people in the field of our expertise who were on the call trying to help us out with any question we had. So that was amazing. Today I pitched something that had nothing to do with textile recycling, with waste prevention and prison labor that I previously explored. It is a completely new direction, 180-degree pivot, and more so related to the social dance space, essentially. It came out of a conversation that we had with Alex yesterday, and 13 hours later I'm standing on the stage and pitching it, which was fun. We realized that there is a lot of opportunity in the processing of transactions and so on, but obviously all of that comes as just a spark of inspiration. The rest is validating and seeing whether or not it even is such a problem that internet seems to confirm to us that it is. But ChatGPT and any sort of LLM has a lot of bias towards making you confirm your own beliefs, so I don't know if those numbers and calculations that we got are actually legitimate. I'm at a stage where it's slightly it's difficult. It's pulling me into many different directions, and I think that's kind of an internal struggle of a social enterprise or a business that is trying to do good over profit, to impact over profit, people over profit, planet over profit, and while doing that also in parallel existing in a VC space where potentially they obviously want to see exponential growth and exponential increase in profit, which of course would scale with our impact as well, right, if we are directly linking them together, but sometimes it can be counterproductive. So what I'm battling with over the course of the last week, but especially today, is the fact that there are so many opportunities to make money, but I don't want to tie myself to something that doesn't resonate with me, that isn't related to a niche or an area that I find value emotionally from, because that value I want to tie to reduction of waste. And I don't know why that mission is the one that I'm ready to die on the hill of, but for some reason it's just that one core one, probably because I feel that there is some level of expertise for me in it. Even though today I had a one-on-one session with one of the people here in Antler, and we were talking of the fact that it doesn't have to be within your domain expertise. To be honest, there are so many examples of different startups that have nothing to do with what they ended up launching. So for example, Max launched Legora, which is a legal service. It was a 23-year-old group of 23-year-old dudes that had nothing to do with legal, yet they launched the service because they noticed that the work that legal people do is so heavily manual and unoptimized that they created an AI native solution that helps essentially do that faster. Boring field, no expertise, got it done. But do I care to do that? I think that's the bigger question, because I might be able to find a boring industry and automate it, but so what, you know? Because I think the driving factor there is that I don't care about profit to that extent that I would go for something that I don't care about, that it doesn't resonate with me. How do I get to, let's say, a boring industry, but from a place that actually makes me want to solve that problem? I can get to a very, very boring industry, which is, let's say, spinning industry. Today I was reading a report on Pakistan's textile production, and it got me to the fact that actually quite a big chunk of their pre-consumer textile waste comes from spinning factories that make yarn and thread and all of that. And I started looking into it deeper, a lot of researches around that, but that's kind of a random niche that I didn't think of, right? It's, I mean, within the textile sector, of course, itself, but it goes deeper and it's super niche and super specific. So if that ended up being my solution, where I'm creating something that helps with a special scanning technology to find the inefficiencies in textile production before the thread breaks so that we prevent that waste, that could be pretty cool. But if we get to that through here, I'm fine with doing the boring thing where I have no expertise, and that's fine. But yeah, that's kind of been my battle, and my eyes are very dry because I slept for 3 hours and 40 minutes today. My Rincon is saying that I should relax and chill because that's the first time ever I'm in red for my stress levels, because again, I didn't sleep much and I went for a run right in the morning and then went into pitching something that is a completely random new idea. I feel like this. I'm at the core a person who really wants to make value and impact over profit, right? So that's my center. And that's so far been revolving around the textile industry, but I'm open. I'm assuming that it can be something else, that's fine. And then we're in the VC space, which wants to grow and 10x, 100x, 1000x the investment that they make, which is completely fair. That's exactly how they operate. That's their business model. So no argument there. And then there's the other side, which is like the slow development and seeing how you grow, and maybe some sort of grants or even bootstrapping and applying to different small little competitions that help you scale. And there are a lot of different examples like that. For example, just now I was just scrolling LinkedIn and there was a girl who does tool library. So it's like a giant shelf that is locked behind the screen, that you enter a screen and then you can rent things from there. So like a circle saw or any other power tool. And it's put into physical libraries as far as I know, or community centers where people can then borrow those things without a physical person needing to be present. And I heard about them from Startup Day last year, I believe. And then now I've been noticing how they're growing, and they recently signed another company that they're doing this pilot with. So it's very gentle, very slow movement, slow development. And that technically could be something that we're doing with Unsume, because our B2C platform is close to being launched. So what is stopping us from exploring that? And that's the part where I'm completely torn into two directions, because of course we could go slow. Yes, that wouldn't be a startup with a massive opportunity to affect more people. We can go super fast, but then that wouldn't be the B2C platform that is about to be launched. And I don't want it to be a sunken cost fallacy where I'm just focusing on this because it's about to be launched, but it's also completely idiotic to drop something that is just 2 weeks away from launching. Because maybe this version of Unsume is not the final version of Unsume, but for us to get to the final version, perhaps this one needs to exist. And we need to refine it and see what is needed. Maybe it isn't exactly this, but users will tell us what it is. So yeah, it is slightly frustrating, and I think the environment that pushes you to kind of move super fast is absolutely amazing, and I'm super grateful for it and for being here right now as well. But it does bring me to the point where I think I'm moving in so many different directions and just not entirely fulfilling my desire for focus and insight. I love to dig deep and get in deep enough for me to confirm that this is what we need. And right now it feels like I've been getting, well, somewhat deep. I've been digging for sure, but it hasn't been entirely that far beyond the surface level across those areas where I'm just meeting it. Never mind that exists. Never mind that exists. I have so many amazing companies here that we're together with in the cohort that know the problem, they have validated it, and now they're building the solution and I'm trying to sell it. And that's the fun part. I think that's where I could somewhat excel, because I can sell it. I can bullshit my way through life with my art degree. This is basically what I learned in my bachelor's anyway. So that's the part where I feel like a fish in the water. And now I feel like a fish out of water that's growing legs, but those legs are barely working. So I'm just stumbling my way through it, which is fine. I'm learning, and that's fine. And I like learning, that's fine. But, you know, just the frustration stage, which is what I'm trying to share with you transparently.